ちです。No more thank you. No more thank you. はい、どうぞ。Okay. As I always just the mention of mouth, what's happened after the Bodhidharma? Bodhidharma just came from India to China. The emperor just invited him and asked him, who are you? This is a great question. Who are you? In another words, what the true ourselves is. What true ourselves is. This is the most the sensational question for human to just realize. See what the true self is. Then the answer. What are the Bodhidharma answers? I never be able to be aware of who I am. I never be able to be aware of what I'm doing now, even where I am. This is our true self. Wow. Is it understandable? Even in a concept. See, these things, this reality, we have to realize. Otherwise we are always be deceived by thinking of ourselves. See, our true self is when I just face this, I simply just become as it is. See, there is no separation. There is no separation, distinction between this and this. See? This is what this is the saying. So this is what Bodhidharma just teaching. We never be able to be aware of who we are, because there is no separation. There is no separation between this and this. See, when I face this, I simply become as it is. There is no discretion or separation. What between this and in other words, there is no nobody entering what between this and this. See, this is the most important thing for that to realize. See, because what the people just thinking about is this is what core is this is, and this is this. There is a certain separation between this and this. This is a delusion. This is a delusion. This is a creation of a thinking or thought. See, before recognition or before consciousness, see, there is nothing exists. There is nothing exists. See, there is nothing exists. Then you recognize this. At the same time, you recognize this. What you think about the self or ego. See, before recognize this, there is nothing existing. See, after recognize this, so you recognize this at the same time recognize this. Otherwise you never be able to recognize this one. The things, there are the things being recognized, and there is a person who just recognizes. See, otherwise you cannot recognize this. So that's the reason, that's the reason there is a certain separation between this and this. See, before this, there is no separation, no direction, no discretion at all. See, exactly same as it is oneness. This is our true self. What you're thinking about the self or the ego never exists before recognition or before consciousness. These things we have to sincerely, we have to just realize this, realize. Otherwise, we are already deceived by thinking and thought. See? What you're thinking about the self, what thinking about the self or the ego is a kind of the creation of the thinking of soul. That is not true. That is not true. The first person who just realized this is a Shakyamuni Buddha. Then he just teach us that, teach us to do that. Otherwise, we cannot realize this one. You sincerely do that. Then what the zazen is, as I just mentioned, whatever thinking or thought they come up in your mind, come out in your mind, you just simply just release them as they are. This is totally enough. You see what people thinking about us, thinking what people thinking about us, thinking or thought is a kind of substance. Then this substance just think or yes, this person or this substance just think about what he or she have to do or want to do, then you'll be able to just act, or you can just do the things. But this is totally misunderstanding. You see, when you're thinking about what you have to do, what you want to do, then end, totally finished. Then just act. It's without any connection with what you think was want to do. Nothing totally different. Nothing any the relation between thinking and activity. See, you simply think what you want to do and end. You just do without what you want to, without the thinking what you want to do, thinking of what you have to do, what you want to do. You see, this is a very important thing. What people just thinking about, as they just mentioned about, what people thinking about, because the people just thinking about what they want to do, they have to do, then they can just do as what they just want to do, or they have to do. This is a totally misunderstanding. You see, never be deceived by thinking as so. This is a very important thing. For human being, whole human, to realize. So today's text is number 55. The basic of Buddhism. What's the basic of the Buddhism is? In other words, what true self is? What true self is? See? As I just mentioned, our true self is entirely extremely different from what people just thinking about themselves. Extremely different. See, when I clap my hand, it just become as I just clap my hand. This is our truth. See, when I just clap my hand, just our truth is come out and it, at the same time disappear. Oh. This much different. This much what you think about yourself or ego. You see, before I clap my hand, what you think about the self or ego never exists. Never exists anywhere. See, when I clap my hand, kind of what you think about the self or just the ego just come up in your mind. Only in your mind. Nothing anymore. And no one else, but in your mind, come out. See? Then you just hold it, grab it. Then you just recognize the sound. Then at the same time, you just recognize this one as what you think about the self and ego. Before you just before I just clap my hand, what you think about the self ego never exists. That's the reason. Once Shakyamuni Buddha just realized this truth, this reality, he never just came down to the place where people just live. The reason why is, see, that's what he just realized is entirely different from what he just saw think about the self. Totally different. You see, that's the reason even he just mentioned about what he just realized. People never understand. He thought people never be able to understand what he just realized. That's the reason he never just came down to the place where the people live. See, that much the realization is completely different. You see what we are thinking about the self or the ego. See? That's the reason we have to do it. See? Because we are completely deceived by or fooled by thinking of ourselves. See? Thinking or thought is simply delusion. It's not a truth. There is as far as thinking of thought are concerned, there is a separation between the thinking and what you think about self. But the truth is, the reality is no separation, no discretion between what you think about self and the death. See, oneness. See, oneness is the true ourself. Oneness, always become one. Always become one. When I just face this, I just become death. You see, when I face this, I just become death. See, without doing anything, See, this is such a wonderful, marvelous thing. So without doing anything, I just simply become this is our true activity. Without what you're thinking about the self, this is a true ourself. This is never be deceived. See, then you recognize this. you recognize this activity, then you just put a kind of I, see, kind of I saw, I saw this, I saw this, I saw, I did do it. See, that's later. That's right before recognition. Things are already done without self, without self. You never be able to even understand what I say. See, in concept, even a concept. That's the reason the Shakyamuni Buddha or Patriarchs just recommend us to do zazen. It's only zazen you'll be able to just realize this reality. See, this is a marvelous thing. Without doing anything, you can do. You can act. You can act. Right now, right now. See, what you are doing, what you are acting is without what you think about the self. See, ego never exists. Never. So the basic of the Buddhism title says so. In another word, the basic of Buddhism is what true self is. What true self is. As I just mentioned, our true self is entirely different from what we are thinking about the self or ego. That's the reason Jinen Roshi just have to just mention or teach us this. Okay, I think that's many times, excuse me, I think that's many times we, without knowing, learn things in such a way that we think we are going to train ourselves and make ourselves into a splendid person. This way people are just always doing. See, what people thinking about this one is a kind of imperfect imperfect things. This one is another perfect thing. That's the reason we have to train something, and then we wanna be a perfect person, or it says a splendid person. This is a total misunderstanding. This is you see, as the Zen Master Dogen just teaches, this is the complete and universal. You see, complete and universal. You see, what people think about this one is entirely different. This one is a complete and universal. You see, also when I face this, I just become this. This proves us how perfect it is. Yeah, can you accept this? It's very simple. When I face this, see, without doing, I just become this. Totally complete and perfect. If you can just accept, if you can accept what I say, then you're not gonna have any problem or question at all. That's it. See, very simple. When I face this, simply I just become this without doing anything. This is what Zen Master Dogen teaches us. Our true self, our true self is complete and universal. And so that we don't need to do anything anymore. So that, but unfortunately, what people just try to do is try to train, try to practice, try to do anything to just make this one as a splendid person, splendid things, but that's useless. You see, although I don't deny that the things you have to train or you have to practice, it's all right, but fundamentally, we don't need to do it because we are complete and we are complete and universal. Right. So at least we have to just realize this reality. If we just want to just realize this, see that what is the Shakyamuni Buddha or the Patriarchs recommend us, just simply do that. You see, very simple, as I just mentioned already. You see, Zazen, you don't need anything. You don't need anything. 1 square meter space, 1 square meter space. And if you have a kind of cushion, that's enough. You see, you simply sit on the cushion and then do whatever just the thinking or thoughts that come up in your mind, simply release them as they. That's it. That's enough. Very simple. Yeah. So continue constantly. You do this, then eventually you'll be able to encounter true self, essential self. This one is tremendous, huge, uncountable. People never be able to just imagine what it is. See? People never be able to imagine what it is, how huge it is. That's much our true self, our true, such a wondrous, or tremendous. So if you wanna just realize this, for a time being, just sit. Then someday or soon, well, it takes us such a time, but it doesn't matter. You see, simply just sit, and until you just you're thinking until your thinking or thoughts completely ceased, then there is no separation. There is no separation between this and this, this and this. No separation. You never be aware of who you are at this moment. You never be able to be aware of which is which. See, this moment just come up. Then you'll be able to just realize who you are. Okay. However, if you are carefully looking at what you are, you'll find that all the things you want to make great and become great have been actualized on the way you are now. I want you to realize this, that. See? As I just already mentioned, what the Jinen Roshi just mentioned, teaching us is See, very simple. When I face this, I just become this. There is no separation between this and this. You see, oneness. Oneness. What do you think about? What you think about the self or ego never enter, never intervene, never be able to intervene or never be able to enter between this and this. So then after recognition, kind of thinking of a sort of I just come out. I see this, I saw this, then this just come out. This is a totally misunderstanding. Before recognition, before consciousness, there is nothing except between this and this. Also this and this is also not exist. See, not completely empty. Oneness is emptiness. See, this is our truth. This is our reality. And totally different what we are thinking about. Totally different. They think you never be able to just realize this reality by thinking also. That's a totally impossible, totally impossible. Far beyond this reality or this truth, far beyond the thinking or thoughts. That's the reason you simply do as other. That's enough. See? Okay. This is why the Buddhist way is so magnificent, because you don't know that it has already actualized. So you should be able to see it with your own power. Then you can be a person to say, yes, it's true, and completely at ease, completely satisfied with your present self. See, very simple. See, when I face this, see, without doing, simply, I just become this. There is no separation. There is no separation between this and exactly one. And after recognize this, there is a separation. That is not a truth. Reality is simply I just become. We just doing anything. This is our truth. No separation, no discretion between this and this. You see? We simply become itself. We just become, we are itself, simply itself. So itself never needs to know what it is. Itself need to know what it is. Itself needs to recognize what it is. Also, it is impossible to just recognize what it is because itself, no separation, oneness. So we don't need to know. We don't need to know what it is. We don't need to recognize what it is because as it is. This this reality is so marvelous, so wonderful. Without thinking or thought, we can just act. Without thinking, we can just simply act. We can just simply act because oneness. Because one. So, it's very hard. I know much about it. So that's the Shakyamuni Buddha Page just recommend us to do that. Otherwise, you never be able to just recognize, even in a concept, recognize what it is, what truth is. The simply does it. So then you just, as I just mentioned about, you sincerely do that, so that you are thinking of the thought, completely just cease. Then there is no separation. There is no separation between this and death. Then it is at that moment kind of things just happen. Then you'll be able to just realize, see, what true self is. See, because what you think about the self is, as I just mentioned, that's a creation of thinking or thought, delusion. True self is as it is. As it is. See? Entirely different from what you think about the self or ego. Ego, you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about the ego. Ego never exists. Why you have to just why do you have to care of kind of ego, never exists. That's the creation of thinking, of imagination of thinking of thought. That's it. See, you don't need to worry about it being or something else. Right. But even you just understand it, but it's a kind of useless. See, you have to just become a person who is without self. Who is without self. Yeah, that once you just become that person, you will just accept everything without any condition. You can just simply accept everything as they are. Okay? That is true ourselves. So what you think about, what you think was like or dislike or good or bad, never happen. Never happen. Because that is a kind of the creation of the thinking also. That is not true. That is not that the things just happen after recognition, after the consciousness. Before recognition or before consciousness, nothing happened. Nothing ever. See, this is our true self. Okay. But where is it? Okay. Okay. If you have not experienced forgetfulness, moment without cognition, recognition or cognition, as self will exist, and what comes out will inevitably be on the other side. As long as what you think about self exists in your mind. See, they always a kind of other, kind of the other, just come out. See? This is a function of recognition. See, once you just recognize this, see, once you just recognize this, see, there is, as I just mentioned, there is other things being recognized, and the person who just recognized. Otherwise, you recognize this. See, once you recognize this, so that's the reason that there is a separation. There is a separation between this and this. Before you recognize this, no separation at all. No separation at all. See, before recognition or before consciousness, this is the truth. This is a reality. This is a truth, or this is a reality of the universe. This is a reality of the universe. You see, what we just thinking about the universe never exists. What we just thinking about the universe never exists. That's the creation of thinking of thought. That's the creation of thinking of thought. So, if you have not experienced forgetfulness, once you just forget about everything, once you forget about everything, so there is no separation between this and everything. So totally you forget everything. Everything, nothing exists. That does nothing exist. Then, as I just mentioned once, this time, this thing just happened. Then you recognize this sound. At the same time, you just recognize this. This is a perfect moment. You will be able to recognize. You will be able to realize this moment, this instant moment. I just recognize that's what we think about ourselves. Before I recognize this, what is thinking about the self even never exists. This is a crucial. This is a crucial moment. Then you'll be able to just figure out everything. Nothing question, nothing proven at all. Nothing proven question left at all. Completely end. Okay, if you have not experienced forgetfulness, moments without recognition, without recognition. At that time, at that moment, recognition, the function of recognition, still remain, but we don't know much about what it is. So that exactly saying nothing as nothing. And what comes out will inevitably be on the other side quality. This is a problem. This is a problem. But once you just have an experience, there is no separation. There is nothing at all. Completely empty. The true state of being, this one, the true state of being, to forget yourself means that you are separate from every little thing. What true self is, we are everything. We are everything. But we are completely separate from everything. This is our true self. We are everything. We are everything, but we are completely separate from everything. This is true also. From what is called perception till now, and become nothing. Then for the first time, it is who you are, the self. Then at that moment, as I just mentioned, you'll be able to, you'll be able to realize who you are, who you are. That's realization is the most valuable thing, most valuable moment, time, the things for us to do. Hi, congratulations. No problem at all. Nothing problem left at all. The complete and the universal. We are complete and universal. Oh. Okay. Practice is not taking out things on the way of thinking. This is very useful. The saying, as long as we just do true observance, we never just care much about thinking or solving. Just simply slowly as this is enough. Because our activity is nothing concerned with thinking and thoughts. What people are thinking about the activity or the action is something concerned with something concerned with or related with the thinking also. This is a total misunderstanding. What are we just thinking about? What we have to do? What we want to do? Then we just simply act or doing or being without what thinking about what we have to do, what we wanna do. This is our activity. Never be deceived by thinking or thoughts. Time is up. But yeah, I think it's one of the hardest just the comment what hardest ones, what just Shakyamuni Buddha just realized. This is the hardest one. But this is the most valuable things. Because what the people thinking about the self or ego never exists. See, totally misunderstand. Totally misunderstanding. See, that's realization. We have to just have to be or have to have or experience this realization. Although it takes us such a time, but see, diligently, perseverance, we have to do, because we are always be deceived by thinking, and so we just see through what's the thinking or thought. See, thinking thought is another the reality at all. See, never be deceived. Hi, thank you so much. See you the day after tomorrow. Maybe. Grace-san, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. Uh,